Hare Krishna, good evening, welcome all of you for our weekly Ramayan class. We generally have it on Wednesday, but today being Ekadashi, we have kept it on Tuesday. So welcome all of you all. So we are already discussing the fourth sarga, the fourth chapter of the BAALKANDA of the Ramayan. So we studied up to verse number 13. So it is BAALKANDA, that is first Kand, chapter number 4, verse number 13 we completed. So just take a fast recap as Mr. Praveen has just mentioned. Yes, we are discussing about the qualities of love and kusha and how they were in pure goodness. And that is how one can recite or relish the Ramayana. If one wants to relish the Ramayana, one has to transcend himself from the three modes of nature. You will say, what are the three modes? Three modes are, that is the three moods, not even just the modes. The mood in which one connects to God is more important. So unless until you don't come out of your Tamogun, Rajagun, and come to Satogun, which is not the end, and from there you have to transcend from Satogun to Vishuddha Sattva. And at that stage, when you get connected with God in one of the Rasabhav, which are the mood in which you can connect with. Someone will treat God as their son, someone as their beloved, someone as their mother, someone as a friend. So various ways, various rasabhav, one can get connected with God. Unless and until one doesn't take up to these modes, the sense, these rasabhavs, he cannot connect with God. So these moods are very important. Whereas we generally get stuck in the modes. And what are the modes? Satogun, Rajagun, and Tamogun. Tamogun is very bad. Rajagun is also not conducive for devotion. Satogun, yes, it is conducive for devotion, but one has to make himself transcend from Satogun to Vishuddha Sattva. And Lord already has said in the Bhagavad Gita, Triguna Veda, Nistriguna Bhava Arjuna, Nirdvando, Nitya Sattvastito, Niryogakshemam Atmavan. He's saying Nitya Sattvastito. That is something which is very unique. We generally transcend between the three modes. You know, we vibrate between the three modes. Sometimes in Satogun, sometimes in Rajagun, sometimes in Tamogun. कई बार हम लोग सुबह उठते हैं, हम लोग घर पे भजन कीर्तन भगवान का सॉन्ग ये सब सुनना चाहते हैं, या रेडियो चैनल में यही बजता है. क्यों? सतोगुण का समय है. यही अगर वही रेडियो चैनल आप दोपहर को लगाएंगे तो एकदम टैक चिक म्यूजिक, नो फास्ट म्यूजिक. व्हाई? दैट इज रजोगुण का समय. And then night again slow music, tamoguna ka समय. So these are all the variations. So I want someone to read from verse number 11, please, so that we get the flow of it. Damini, can you read, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. Once those who very fortunate and great personalities, possessing great bodily features, sang this epic poem in the assembly of sages and pious souls.
I said verse number 11. I want you to read from verse number 11.
Okay. They were charming in appearance and they had a very sweet voice. They were like mirror reflections of each other. They resembled Lord Rama in all bodily features as if they were his reflections.
Continue.
These two princes had fully memorized every word of the best epic poem, which was full of religiosity. Then they recited it without any fault. As instructed, the two boys, who were in full knowledge, then sang that composition in the assembly of sages and twice born Brahmanas and sadhus with complete concentration.
Now continue.
Once those two very fortunate and great personalities, possessing great bodily features, sang this epic poem in the assembly of sages and pious souls.
Next one, 15 also.
When the sages heard that recitation from the two boys, their eyes were filled with tears of joy. The sages were greatly astonished and they said, "Excellent, well done."
Yes. So there are two verses right now we have to understand, or rather, it is a preceding of the earlier verses, where you read verse number 13. As instructed, the two boys who were full in knowledge then sang that composition in the assembly of sages. And twice born. Twice born are none other than Brahmanas. Why Brahmanas are called as twice born? Karan kya? they are called as Dvija. Dvija means twice born. A bird is also Dvija, twice born.
When it is born and when it starts flying.
No, one it is born as an egg, and once it comes out of the egg. So there are two stages of birth. One is it comes out as an egg from the body of the bird, and then the egg hatches, it moves out. So दो भागों में होता है. तो ब्राह्मण तो ऐसे दो अंडे वंडे में से तो आता नहीं है. How do you understand that? It is said, everyone who is born वो शूद्र बन के ही पैदा होता है. जन्मना जाए शूद्र. फिर उसका मुंज सेरेमनी बोलते हैं ना, थ्रेड सेरेमनी, वो करते हैं. फिर वो क्या बनता है? द्विज, सेकेंड बॉर्न. अभी वो ब्राह्मण नहीं बना, द्विज बना. उसके बाद चलो लेट मी सी हु रिमेंबर्स. उसके बाद क्या होता है?
विप्र.
हाँ, विप्र कैसा बनता है?
उपनयन.
आई ऑलरेडी सेड उपनयनम हो गया, तभी तो वो द्विज बना ना.
He starts the reading of scriptures under
he starts reading of scriptures. That means he has now started his journey towards getting the knowledge of God. So now also he has not become a Brahmana. He is only a Vipra. And then finally, when he has completed his education, his mind is totally focused on the Supreme God. That time he is referred to as Brahmana. So this is how there are various stages. Nothing is direct. No one born as a thing is in a Brahmin family. You know, people generally say, "अरे ब्राह्मण के घर पे पैदा हुआ है." If you see, your actions and activities define you. For example, Ashwatthama, when he is referred in the entire Bhagavatam as Brahmana Putra, he is not referred to as Brahmana, though he is son of Dronacharya, now the Acharya, one of the greatest archer and guru of the Kauravas and the Pandavas, but still Dronacharya's son is referred to as Brahmana Putra and not Brahmana, because the activities what he has done is not at all Brahmanika. So I always give this example, just being born in a doctor's house, the child or the son or the daughter is not called as a doctor. Born in a lawyer's house, the child doesn't become a lawyer. The child may be born in a doctor's house, but he has to study, get the knowledge, and then become a doctor. So हमको इससे पता चलता है कि at any point one has to stand up with his qualities and activities to be in that varna and ashram. Otherwise, mere by being born in a Brahminical family or in a Vaishya family or a Kshatriya family, you are not entitled to enjoy those post or power. So, as instructed, the two boys who are in full knowledge then sang the composition in the assembly of sages. Now, why is the necessity for Lava and Kusha to sing in the assembly of sages? They could have sung it in the marketplace or places where people are moving around.
प्रभु जी, क्योंकि वो साधु संत जो थे वो ही समझ सकते थे जो वो गा रहे थे. या
तो याद रखना है माता जी. इट्स वेरी नाइस, परफेक्ट. आपने जो जवाब दिया सही जवाब दिया. This is, everyone cannot relish everything. Some people relish drinking, drinking alcohol, varieties of alcohol, some low grade, some high grade, but alcohol is alcohol. So, eating shit is shit. Whatever variety you eat, it's different. So it doesn't make it other than that. So sadhus are the people who can really relish it. Those in the tamogun, those in the rajogun will not relish it. Rajogun people, if at all they attend any spiritual satsang, is with an inherent burning feeling that might be by attending this, by listening to this spiritual talk, I may be blessed with some more money or success. They look out for some personal benefit in that. Whereas Satagun person by default has an attraction towards all spiritual activities. Might be reciting some shlokas or listening to shlokas, listening to satsang, attending satsang, eating prasad. These are all activities for a person who is already in the mode of Satagun. So they are the people who are going to actually relish it. They are not rich. People generally want to impress the rich yajman, so that by speaking very nicely I may get a hefty cover at the end of the program. So we see many kathavachaks, many so-called preachers, they go towards people who really don't relish it, but still with an expectation. That is very wrong. That means the preacher himself is not in the mode of Satogun. One in the mode of Satogun will always recite it in the group of people who are in the mode of goodness. That is why you see, whenever there is a katha somewhere happening, many people go. Some people at the same time will go for a movie. They find that mode to be more entertaining than satsang. Some people go to, might be the pub or a discotheque. Why? They find that more entertaining than a satsang. So there are three modes always working, and people are bifurcated the three modes. So there is only those in the mode of goodness will love to relish it, and not just relish it. Once those two very fortunate and great personalities offering great bodily features sang this epic poem in the assembly of sages and pious. In verse number 14, another important one. Once those two very fortunate and great personalities. Why is Valmiki ji addressing them as fortunate and great personalities? इसका क्या किया उन्होंने? They are fortunate and great personalities. Tell me. Mahabhago, that is very fortunate, and Mahatmano, that is great personalities. बड़े लोग. And उस जमाने में, mind you, there was no Instagram, Facebook, and followers, tagging and all that. It's not there. So why is, on what basis is Valmiki ji writing? Just because they are sons of Lord Rama, that is why they are great personalities? आजकल वही चलता है. बड़े बाप का बेटा है. Yes, tell me.
Because the qualities which both they are possess, that's why. The list of qualities you have discussed with us.
Okay, agreed. Chalo, to an extent, yes, but something more higher.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Yes, bro.
वो उनको रियल इंटेलिजेंस क्या है वो पता था. मेधावी नो.
Okay, fine. Something more. Fortunate, lucky. क्यों कहा गया? अरे भाई, हर किसी को ये रामायण महाभारत कंठस्थ नहीं होता. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry cannot get a. First and foremost, if you are attending a satsang, means you have done something great in some great spiritual activity in your past life. That is why you are able to attend a satsang. Mind you, any activity which is happening in your life, आपके जीवन में जो भी कार्य हो रहा है, please don't think it is happening by your endeavor or by chance. आपकी चेष्टा जरूर हो सकती है. जरूर आपको अभी खाना खाना है, अगर भगवान ने भी आपके सामने रसगुल्ला लाके रख दिया, मेहनत तो करना पड़ेगा. हाथ को लंबा करना पड़ेगा, उठाना पड़ेगा, मुंह में डालना पड़ेगा, चबाना पड़ेगा. Yes, that is no doubt. If you call that as the only reason why you could eat the rasgulla, you are a fool. You are not understood the actual science of God. Lord clearly says every activity today which we are enjoying or we are undergoing in the form of suffering or in the form of enjoyment is reflection of our past karmas. And sometimes, great personalities, when we see them suffering, we see, अरे यार ये आदमी कैसे suffer करता है. You all must have heard of King Harishchandra, Raja Harishchandra, है ना? नाम सुना है कि नहीं? सत्यवादी हरिश्चंद्र, truthful king. Very good. I have not discussed the entire story, but in his lifestyle and in his life story, there was an incident where he got sold to a Chandal. And Chandal is the lowest amongst mankind. And he used to go and get water pots and all that. And he was asked to eat somewhere outside. Finally, he goofed up a big blunder. Matka tod diya, sab kar diya. So he was chastised, beaten by the Chandal. Because now he was a bought slave. और उसको बोला कि एक काम तुम अभी से ना, you look after my pigs, सुअरों को संभालो. And looking after the pig means he has to clean even their excreta and everything. का मलमूत्र जो है वो भी साफ करना पड़ेगा. So the next day morning, when those pigs, in the morning the pigs were moved aside, and he cleansed all the malamutra, that is the urine and stool and everything, with his own hands, because in those era you cannot find gloves and all that. He had to do it. And he was the Ishwaku kings. He was cleaning. When he cleansed that day, there was a voice from the sky which said, "You're a great personality. With these hands, you have done so many yagyas. You have done so many pujas, so many havans, so many Ashwamedha yagya you have done. You have pacified the Devi Devatas, everyone you have done. This hand is not meant to clean all this." Immediately, the Devatas pronounced a decision. He said, "From tomorrow, these pigs will not pass their urine and stool in the place where they are kept." Until today, those who are rearing the pigs, जो भी डुक्कर को या क्या कहते हैं, what do you say for pigs? क्या बोलते हैं? सुअर को जो संभाल के रखते हैं, तो उनको आज भी सुअर will not pass their urine and stool in a closed compound, in a closed barricade. When they are going out to eat their rasgulla, the gutter they have rasgullas. So when they go out there, they pass their urine and feces. So the point what I'm trying to make over here is, whatever we do, it happens because of our past karmas. And if we are really glorious like Raja Harishchandra, alterations in the cycle of universe is also made just because that person was so righteous. But here the question was of fortunate. Fortunate are those who get the path of spirituality. True spirituality, yes. But there is a shloka in the Bhagavad Gita which says, "Bahu janmana mante jnanvan mam prapadyante vasudevam sarvamiti sam atmasu durlabha." It says, "Bahu janmana mante." So what we have to understand, devotion is generally not completed in one birth. Yes, there are great personalities who have completed. You can be one of them, provided you are so steadfast. If you are so steadfast, you can definitely complete your devotion in one go. Otherwise, it's very difficult. That's why Valmiki ji especially mentions these two personalities, that they have not only read, but they have by-hearted this entire Ramayana. That is why he is mentioning the word, these two very fortunate and great personalities. Why great? Not because they are great father's son, but they are great because they have maintained the greatness of their father by following righteousness. धर्म को फॉलो करना है, भगवान की गाथाओं को गाना है, ये भी कोई मामूली काम नहीं. And possessing great bodily features, sang the epic poem in the assembly of sages and pious souls. When these sages heard their reaction to the two boys their eyes were filled with tears of joy. The tears of joy. That means when this tears of joy is possible, it is possible only when the two boys, Lava and Kusha, they have done their job correctly in describing the Lord's Leelas or whatever scriptures they have read. Vice versa, those who have heard it with full concentration, that means if one has to relish in a satsang, means both the speaker as well as the listener has to be totally focused and concentrate on what they are speaking and on what they are hearing. Only in that case one relishes the satsang, or else it just becomes, oh, I know this, I've heard this, I've heard it n number of times, I've heard this. In fact, the speaker is not good. Many people have got a very a dirty habit of certifying speakers. It's very bad. It's very low. Why one should never try to give a certificate or be judgmental with respect to a speaker. Each one is speaking in a different tone, in a different bhava, in a different way. If you do not connect, you do not relish, you may come out of the satsang. But never do an aparadh of saying this. No, he's not a good speaker. He's not entertaining. Some people like entertainment. Some people like philosophy, logic. Some people like just because there is God's Leela, they like to listen. So various type of people are there, various type of speakers are there. So one should never at any point try to give a tag label to any speaker or to any listener. Oh, these are not good listeners. These are not good. See, no, it's very bad. That is why one who is able to connect, that is the listener, is able to connect with the speaker, then he can enjoy the actual satsang or the actual, the essence of the katha. The essence of the katha can only be understood when both are speaking concentratedly. Prabhupada says very nicely, there's one nice statement he says. If a male and female get married, it is not enough that they will have a child. The male has to be potent and the female has to be fertile. That is why it is said many times a male may be potent, but the female may not be fertile. Sometimes the female will be fertile, the male may not be potent. In both cases, there won't be any chance of conceiving a child of devotion. Here I am talking with respect to child of devotion. Similarly, the speaker, जो वक्ता है और जो श्रोता है, दोनों, they are like a potent male and a fertile female. अगर वक्ता कह रहा है और श्रोता ढंग से सुन रहा है, दोनों के अंदर वो qualities, वो गुण, they both possess the same qualities which are required for a speaker as well as for a listener, then yes, there will be definitely relishment of the katha. If one has to relish the katha, these two qualities are required. That we could see this in this shloka, that the sages, when the sages heard the recitation from the two boys, their eyes were filled with tears of joy. मतलब बच्चों ने भी पूरी कंसंट्रेशन से और सही ढंग से सुनाया है और ये लोगों ने भी सही ढंग से सुना है. The sages were greatly astonished. They said, excellent, well done, well done. Verse number 16, all the sadhus who had heard the two boys singing were righteous and happy at heart. They praised the worthy Lakusha and Lava. Again, here it is mentioning is sunne wala righteous hona chahiye and happy at heart. What is this word happy at heart? Yes, I want someone to explain me this. How can one be happy at heart? then only you can relish. I mean, that's what the shloka understanding we get. What is that? How can one get happy by heart?
Prabhuji, only someone can be happy only when he is free from all the fears and anxieties like of the material world. Only then he can be happy.
Okay, good. Good. Something more? I would like someone to add something.
When one is satisfied.
When one is satisfied, yes. Satisfied what?
Satisfied with what he is getting on his own, like
See,
accord.
I'll tell you, if you are satisfied,
he's
1 minute. If you are satisfied, what is the need for you to come to Katha? You are satisfied.
No, material things. Like we are satisfied with what we are getting in the material realm, and we are trying to progress towards spiritual.
You're close, but you're not correct. I'll just elaborate it a little more better. Anjana wants to say something.
No, Prabhuji.
You want to say something?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So please understand. You can mute everyone, Mataji. Satisfied means what? One who is happy with whatever materially he is contented. There's another big understanding. If someone is listening to a satsang or a spiritual katha with an expectation of material gain, then also he will not relish it. Because he is listening it for some benefit. कुछ सीखना है, कुछ जानना है, उसके लिए अगर सीखते हो तो बात अलग है. अगर जो व्यक्ति बोलता है मेरा कुछ फायदा होगा, इससे मेरा धंधा बढ़ेगा, मेरा शादी हो जाएगा, मेरे बच्चे हो जाएंगे, no. Satisfied means one has to be materially satisfied, but spiritually one should not be satisfied at no point of time. What do we read in the Mangalacharan? Atriptapstam munim vande prachitasa kalmasham. What does this mean? You're reading right about Valmiki ji, right? Atriptapstam munim vande.
Prabhu, should I try? I mean, the meaning.
Yes.
Basically means Sage Valmiki is like he keeps on like he gets the knowledge of Rama's story, all the whatever is going around, but he's never happy, like because he want to know more, kind of like that. He keeps on listening to Ram Katha, something like that.
I'm taking out the verse so that you can hear. Yes. Yeah, Piban Satatam Ramacharitamrita Sagaram. Piban, drinking. So what does he do? कुछ निचोड़ नींबू का रामायण को भी निचोड़ सकते हैं क्या? नींबू का पानी बनाते हैं वैसे. अरे कान से भी पिया जाता है, सिर्फ मुंह से पिया नहीं जाता. कोई आंखों से पीता है, कोई कान से पीता. So Ramayanam can be enjoyed through the ears. So yep, even Satatam Ramcharitamrita Sagaram. अतृप्त मुनिम वंदे. ही इज अतृप्त मुनि. इतना पीने के बाद भी पीते रहते रामायण, फिर भी अतृप्त. और यहाँ पे हम क्या बोल रहे हैं? लिसनर हैज टू बी satisfied. And yeah, अतृप्त मतलब unsatisfied person. Yes, one should be always unsatisfied as far as spirituality is concerned. He is always drinking the nectarian ocean in the form of Ramayana story, yet he never feels satisfied. That is how one should be with respect to spirituality, but with respect to material things, yes, one should always feel satisfied. बस जो आया है ठीक है, मेरे कर्मों से आया है. Whatever today I am having is by mercy of my past karmas. मेरे पूर्व कर्म की वजह से आज मेरे पास जो भी है और जो भी है आप उसमें से कुछ भी नहीं भोग सकते. You know that? You cannot enjoy anything. Why you want so much of money? Why you want so much of wealth? Why you want so much of position? दूसरे को जलाने. Yes. Day in and day out. What do you plan if someone comes and tells you, yes, sir, take your 1 crore rupees, take your 10 crore rupees, take your 100 crore rupees. हाँ, इससे मैं ना वो ड्रेस खरीदूंगा और उसको जलाऊंगा. ये परफ्यूम करूंगा, ये खरीदूंगा और उसको जलाऊंगा. ये गाड़ी खरीदूंगा और उसको जलाऊंगा. Because what you actually are enjoying, zero. This material world, nothing can be enjoyed. Whatever you may feed this body with some feel-good factors, it's good. You may put on the AC, you may put on some nice music, eating some nice cuisine, food, whatever it is. But there is a limitation to those things. कितना घंटा सुनोगे गाना? कितना घंटा एसी में सोओगे? कितना घंटा खाना खाओगे? कितना देर खाओगे? कितना देर वही आइटम खाओगे? So you don't actually enjoy whatever you make it. But that's the best satisfaction we have. हाँ, I got this much of money. मेरे पास इतना पैसा है, इतना धन है, इतना ये है, वो है. मैं अब सेफ किससे हो? धनी से धनी व्यक्ति को भी मरना पड़ता है. Is anyone free from birth, death, old age and disease? Everyone has to face that death one day or the other. So please understand, if one has to take interest in spiritual activities, he has to satisfy himself with material greed, lust. जब तक material greed, lust है, तब तक आपका spiritual inclination will not be there. Because you cannot travel in both the boats. You can never travel one. If you are having greed and lust for materialistic possessions or materialistic gains, then you will not develop that extra special quality of enjoying Harikatha. If you want to enjoy Harikatha, you got to develop that quality. And that is why, because please understand, every word is like an atom bomb. Any scripture, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, whatever you may take, every word has got in-depth meaning. So all the sages heard the two boys sing were righteous and happy at heart. Righteous का मतलब क्या है? Anjana, every time your mic is getting unmuted, please keep it muted. Yeah. What is the meaning of righteousness? Righteous, virtuous. इसका actual अर्थ क्या है? Actually समझ क्या है? Come on, fast.
प्रभु जी, जो राइचियसनेस का है कि जो व्यक्ति जिसको खुद के आत्मा का क्या धर्म है, वो लास्ट टू लास्ट लेक्चर में आपने बताया था.
Very important. The word used here itself is dharma vatsala. What is the meaning of dharma vatsala? धर्म का गाय जो है ना, वत्सा मीन्स बच्चा, बछड़ा. गाय के बछड़े को क्या बोलते हैं? वत्स बोलते हैं. इसलिए है ना, वृंदावन में वत्सासुर को भी मारा भगवान ने. वत्स मीन्स गाय का बछड़ा. So what does this mean? धर्म वत्सला, one should follow, जैसा बछड़ा गाय को फॉलो करता है. The way a small calf follows the cow, every human being must follow righteousness under all circumstances. Sometimes it may be conducive, sometimes it may be very tough. When Ramchandra ji was told to go to the forest, conducive tha kya? But what did he follow? He followed dharma. So that is what is important. ये दो गुण होने चाहिए. अब वो इन साधुओं में ये दो गुण थे. Who heard the two boys sing were righteous and happy at heart. वो ही सत्संग में रस ले सकता है. That's why people, why they keep on jumping कथावाचक. थोड़ा दिन एक इसका सुनेगा, थोड़ा दिन उसका सुनेगा. They keep on jumping. Why? या तो ये qualities is lacking in the preacher, or these qualities are lacking in the listeners. Either the speaker is lacking these qualities or the listener is lacking these qualities. So this you have to understand. You have to make yourself very steadfast. Yes, I will follow dharma. Dharma means simple. Dharma means what? Your duties. आपका पहला duties तो करो ठीक से. Whatever your duties are, as a husband, as a wife, as a son, as a father, as a citizen of the country, everywhere there is dharma. Once you have followed that dharma correctly, then only you become, automatically you become righteous. You become happy at heart. मैंने अपना धर्म निभाया. And you have got enough knowledge. Yes, कर्म जो प्रीवियस कर्म है उसके वजह से आज मुझे जो भी है मेरे पास, ये जो भी अभाव है मेरे पास, whatever I am not having, जो भी मैं तकलीफ उठा रहा हूं, ये किसकी वजह से है? मेरे पूर्व जन्म के कर्म से. The sages, after hearing the boy's recitation, said, "It is a great epic with sweet melody of verses. Its speciality is that although it's described the incidents that have occurred long before, it appears as if those incidents have recently occurred." This is a true fact with respect to only and only scriptures, only and only to itihasas. Can anyone give an example of this?
Prabhuji, like Ramayana का story, it is coming since long time, but हर कोई अपना अपने तरीके से portray कर रहा है in different serials और कुछ भी shows है ऐसा.
But though we know the whole
still
story, we know the whole story.
Yeah.
राम को वन में भेजेंगे, कल बाद में सीता का अपहरण होगा, फिर जटायु आएगा, फिर रावण आके जटायु को मारेगा. Whole story everyone knows. But still it's evergreen. Whereas, there have been, when I was in college days, that time there were some hit movies of that time. Today even somebody would not even bother to see those movies. Now the young generation, today's generation, ये क्या कोई movie है? The songs are also, looks pathetic. They're not up to the trend, and the music is so lousy. You don't feel like listening. But in those days, that was a hit of that time. Now there are some movies and songs which may be hit of this time, but will lose its charm in a few years or a few days. I still remember we used to have so many music, favorite musics being played in Ganpati, Sarvajanik Ganpati. Just the whole day that music used to be played. I wonder how much God must have released those music. गणपति जी कितना उस म्यूजिक में नाचे रहेंगे भगवान. It was only for personal benefit. People used to play. So the point what I'm trying to make over here is, epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata, though known to each and every child, still there is a little bit of inclination or sting which is holding us towards that scripture. And this is possible only with these scriptures and nothing else. Why you get hooked up to that? Because here the hero is not a materialistic person. A hero is not a worldly person, and the story is not written by a worldly writer. These are the actual activities of the Lord, the Supreme Lord himself. And hence we have got an attraction. We never wondered about it, why we are attracted. We know, yes, Prabhuji, you're right. Every time we see Ramayana serial, we listen to Ramayana stories and Mahabharata stories and all that. But what's the the main key essence which is holding us or which is tying us? The essence is the characters are all divine. The hero is a super real hero, not a dummy hero, like who is not doing makeup. And Ramchandra ji did not use this duplicate for fighting scenes. He fought himself. No, फिल्मों में वही होता है ना, everything is duplicate. Set भी नकली रहता है, कोई असली नहीं रहता है. So when you are seeing everything false, you will not have an attraction. But here, everything is true. Some atheist may come and ask me, sir, आप थे क्या वहां पे वो टाइम पे? आपको क्या मालूम ये सब सही था? क्या मालूम है कि वाल्मीकि जी must have just written of its mind. What answer would you give for this? If someone asks this question to you. Yes, अंजना माता जी, सुजाता माता जी, बताइए. प्रवीण बताओ, चलो.
प्रभु जी, देर आर मेनी, जैसे कि आर्कियोलॉजी सर्वे हुए बहुत जगह पे, तो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट it shows the presence of Lord is there wherever they have mentioned the stories and everything. So that's the evidence we can give to them that these are all the scientific, because archaeology survey is scientific proof. That's why that's the answer I can give.
Okay, no, that's not the answer, because
प्रभु जी,
archaeological proof. 1 minute. Archaeological proof means God is in mercy of someone for proving his existence. भगवान किसी के मतलब भरोसे पे बैठे हैं या किसी के आधार पे, किसी के प्रूफ के ऊपर उनका अस्तित्व होना ही टिका हुआ है. यस माता जी, बोलिए.
आप हमेशा एक उदाहरण बोलते हैं ना, जब पैसे का वो हुआ था नवंबर में, तब प्रधानमंत्री खुद आकर नहीं बोले थे, पर एक वो उदाहरण भी
बोले, मगर आपका नोट प्रधानमंत्री ने बदला नहीं, आपके
हाँ.
लोकल बैंक वाले ने बदला जब नोटबंदी हुई थी.
तो एक वो भी है कि, और प्रधानमंत्री है वहां पे ना, हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि वो नहीं है करके. तो वैसे भगवान के बारे में कोई ऐसा बोलता था, मैं उदाहरण भी उनको दे सकते हैं.
ओके, वेरी गुड. ये भी एक अच्छा एग्जांपल है. somebody else, पूजा माता जी, मोन. हाँ, और क्या है? अंजना, बस सब साइंटिफिक लोग है ना. प्रिया सिंह माता जी, बताइए.
नहीं नहीं प्रभु।
अरे किसी ने पूछा आपको, अरे क्या सबूत है, क्या सबूत है कि नहीं थे, आप क्या जवाब देंगे उसको? हैं?
Prabhuji, the places mentioned in the Ramayana also correlate with like what Ramayana written and the places where it's
इनमें से
existing.
कल प्रभु जी लेके जाएंगे, एक कुआं दिखाएंगे, बोलेंगे एक कुएं में से कृष्ण पिया. कौन देखा कृष्ण ने कब पिया? बराबर ना. The people with atheistic mentality. Yes, सत्स्वरूपा जानवा देवी जैसी.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम. सो प्रभु जी, रामायण ये स्क्रिप्चर्स पहले भी था, अभी भी हम रिलीज कर पा रहे, सो दैट इंडिकेट्स इज देयर.
Perfect, very nice, simple but correct answer. There's no big rocket science in this. Existence is a doubt for you in today's age, but this has been coming down from ages. This is not today's finding. Praveen, you just mentioned a few minutes before that it has been archaeologically found and this and that. That is today's finding, right? But who had already mentioned this? Your great grandfather, or might be still greater than that. From that time, the stories are coming and pervaded all over the world. Not these stories, these epics are pervading all over. That means its existing was much before our existence. Where is the question of? जब आप और मैं धरती में आने के पहले से ही ये कथाएं विख्यात है. भले ही मेरे पर दादाजी ने देखा नहीं है, मगर उनके पास ये ज्ञान कहां से मिला? क्योंकि उनके पर दादा ने. If you go back to the chain, yes, there is an authentic. जैसे अगर कोई आपके घर में से कोई, I mean, just good news, just on a lighter mood, आपके एकदम घर के बुजुर्ग दादाजी कोई बुला के आपको बोले, बेटा मैंने सुना था मेरे दादाजी ने अपने गांव के घर में एक पूरा मटका सोने का सिक्कों से भरा हुआ मटका छुपा के रखा है, गड़ा के रखा है. अभी आप तब इस पॉइंट पे आप क्या बोलो? बुढ़ा सटिया गया है, or you'll go and dig. You'll go and dig? No. I don't believe all this. That time belief just evaporates because there is some material benefit. But for spiritualists, there is spiritual benefit. That's why it stands true for us. We are spiritual believers. Like material believers, yes, they will go and dig up the whole house. There's a small story. Once one father was frustrated with his 4 sons, lazy sons. Never used to work anything, they used to never do any work. बहुत परेशान था वो बूढ़ा बाप. एक दिन उसने चारों बेटों को बुलाया. He was on his deathbed, मरने वाला था. मरते मरते उसने बोला, देखो बेटा, अरे बच्चों, एक बात याद रखना, मैंने तुम लोगों के लिए ना अपने खेत जो है ना उस पे एक 4 घड़ा सोना भर के रख दिया चारों बेटों के लिए, आप लोग खोद के ले लेना. ये बोल के मर गया. Now the 4 sons, excited, lazy fellows, और लेजी हो जाने का प्लान था. पैसा मिलेगा तो और बैठ के खाएंगे, कुछ भी काम नहीं करेंगे. तो all the 4 sons went and started digging the whole land. तो कहाँ बोला नहीं, so they had to till the whole land. पूरा खोद डाला, कुछ मिला नहीं. The father told a lie. He did not keep. But then the son said, अभी खोद ही दिया है तो भी बोल देते हैं. We'll sow the seeds. तो उन्होंने सीड सोड़ कर दिया. सो कर दिया है तो थोड़ा पानी भी डाल देते. पानी भी डाला, पौधा भी उड़ गया, अच्छा फसल आया, फसल काटा, बहुत सारा पैसा. The children said, ठीक है, हमारे पिताजी ने कहाँ रखा मिला मालूम नहीं, शायद झूठ बोला है, और कुछ भी बोलो, इस खेत ने तो हमको सोना दिया है, मतलब in the form of money, it has paid us back. So when it comes to materialistic thing, non-believers become believers. If someone comes and tells a story about some political party or some country or something, then we are ready to believe. But when it comes to spiritual topics or about Ramchandraji or anything else, then people start questioning, where is the existence of Lord Ram? Who has seen Lord Ram? Why? This is a form of atheistic philosophy. They themselves don't believe and they don't want others also to believe. This is atheistic. These type of questions are asked by those people who themselves do not have the answer. They themselves can't refute it, but they ask these questions. ये ऐसा सवाल पूछेंगे ताकि आपका अंदर गड़बड़ कर पाए. एक situation आता है when one of the sages, when they go to Chitrakoot, Ramchandra ji goes to Chitrakoot, Bharata with all his sages, Jabali also goes there. And Jabali says, कल किसने देखा है, आज आजा, धरती को rule कर ले, forget about righteousness, your father has died, you come back to the kingdom and rule the kingdom as a king. That time he says, first time Ramchandra ji gets angry and he says, no, I wonder how my father kept an atheistic sage like you in his court. And that time Vasishtha Muni says, don't think he is atheistic, he is very intelligent. Only to lure you, he has given you this explanation. We'll discuss at large when we'll come to that point. But please understand that yes, spirituality is to be experienced. It cannot be described. The joy of spirituality has to be experienced. It cannot be described. And the process of the spirituality also has to be done, performed, not just heard about it, and you cannot get the fruits of it. It's like listening to about rasgulla or gulab jamun will not give you sweetness in your mouth. You got to take that rasgulla and put it in your mouth, chew it to enjoy that rasgulla or the gulab jamun. Similarly, spirituality is also not on just a casual way of life. No, I just went and bought an iPhone, so I'll just go to the temple and visit God. Nahi, aisa nahi hota. You need to change your focus, your approach towards spirituality altogether. Okay, with this words, I would like to close to the session. Anybody has got any